Everybody to the Tippin' Maple Leafs podcast, episode number 172. And coming up on this one, the Leafs road trip continues, and they go into Washington, and they come out with a 4-1 win. Nylander and Tavares continue their hot starts this season. Joseph Woll, impressive again in net. And we got one segment tonight, the segment that we and you have been waiting all season for, just the tip. All this and more coming up on episode 172 of the Tippin' Maple Leafs podcast.
Chad, Sheldon Keefe, when asked about the goalie situation heading into this game, Keefe said he thinks internal competition is very healthy. All internal, perhaps. He loves it all internal. Hell of a website as well if you want to check that out. All internal. Here we go. Let's hit the intro.
Tavares coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy mackerel!
Welcome, everybody, to the Tippin' Maple Leafs podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
Don't forget that you can follow us on social media at the Tippin' Maple Leafs podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. You can also check us out on X or Twitter at the Tippin' Pod. Email us tippinpodcast@gmail.com and hit up our Patreon page, patreon.com/Tippin' Maple Leafs podcast. Donate what you can. And also now we're on TikTok.
Who would have thought it, man?
Who would have thought?
Those are words that I thought would never come out of my mouth, Chad, in my life, that we are now on TikTok. But yeah,
now on TikTok.
We are.
We're doing the dances. We're doing the TikTok trends. We're there. You can get us at the Tippin' Podcast on TikTok.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, Dale, here we go.
Here we
going
go.
to Washington.
Yeah, man.
What'd you think of the game? Let's break it down.
Little 6 p.m. start time. Eh? What's the NHL calling this? Frozen Frenzy Day or something like that, where they're staggering, like every team's in action and on this Tuesday night, and they're like staggering the games to start like 15 minutes apart each game. Kind of weird, right? Like kind of weird.
Yeah, it is weird. At 6 o'clock start.
I don't mind it, but
yeah, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of it.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't know what they're trying to do here. Like, I guess, I don't know, like Major League Baseball playoffs I don't know what they're doing here. There was a bunch of early games, there's a bunch of late games, and there was a bunch of games sandwiched in between as well. So who knows? Anyway, anything off the top here, Chad, from you to start?
Nope, nothing. I got nothing.
So Sheldon Keefe, like all internal competition. What a wild website that is. Like, I mean, I know we're Brazzers guys here, but all internal, man, those guys keep it legit over there at All Internal. If you want to check out that little website, that'll keep you busy. That'll keep you occupied all afternoon and well into the evening. I'll tell you that much.
That's right.
That is for sure. Couple of quick things here, Chatty. Sheldon Keefe said he's going to keep tinkering with the lineup until he finds something that works. We know how much this cat loves to tinker. Wasn't a lot of tinkering tonight. He kind of ran the 4 lines and what have you. Not so much the 4th line. In the 3rd period with the 4-1 lead, obviously the 4th line got a lot more ice time. Yeah. But he's going to keep tinkering. He'll be tinkering all season long until he finds something he likes. That's what he's no surprise there, right?
No, that's what Sheldon Keefe does.
And here we go. Keefe again said Woll, ever since he came in last season, he's been rock solid for us. Rock hard, some might say. I'm surprised he didn't say rock hard, but rock solid, what's the difference? Rock solid, rock hard. And that's what we saw again here tonight. Much more on Joseph Woll later. Last thing, Chad, before we get into it, Keefe also said going into it's all Sheldon Keefe. Sheldon Keefe also said going into this one, you're going to like this, 2 teams, talking about Washington and talking about the Leafs, who haven't played well defensively. Both teams in desperate need to fill some holes.
Well, that makes sense.
Thoughts?
Well, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, when you're desperate, you're usually desperate to fill a hole. Am I right?
I'll tell you what, the Leafs are desperate to fill, like, we'll get into the shots on goal and whatever later, but yeah, the Leafs in desperate need to fill some holes defensively. But this Washington team, although they outshot the Leafs by a significant number this evening, but they're just struggling, right? Like the Capitals are not good out of the gates. But hey, man, like if Sheldon Keefe says, you know what, like we need to fill some holes on the back end here, or plug some holes, or whatever. What did he say? Fill some holes.
Fill some holes.
I might have said plug a few holes, but if you want to fill, what's the difference there either? Like
he was thinking plug.
You want to fill a hole, you want to plug a hole. Yeah, they need get it done, Sheldon. Like get to work and get that D core cooking up here, because potentially I know they put up 4 tonight, but without Joseph Woll, I don't know. Early goal called back. We'll get into that quickly, but another beautiful thing that I thought tonight, Chad, was it not great to see Cheryl Pounder back on the TSN panel tonight? Was it not? I love Dave Poulin when he's there, but Cheryl Pounder, come on, dude.
Yeah, no, Cheryl Pounder's the best. Absolutely the best. And you know what? Like we joke about it because Pounder, but
great name.
Amazing name. Amazing name. But she's actually really good on the panel.
Oh, she knows what's up.
She knows her shit.
100%.
Yeah.
I just love the mix in there. Tonight it was O-Dog with Frankie Corrado, Cheryl Pounder, and obviously Duffy. But, they switch it out sometimes. I don't know where Drager was and Poulin, whatever they might. Well, every team was in action, so they were probably doing the Habs game or something else. But anyway.
Games going on.
Ton of games. Every team in action on the Frozen Frenzy or whatever Bettman decided to call this Tuesday night action. Anyway, Nylander and Tavares, Chad, both riding 5-game point streaks going into this one. More on that after I break this puppy down. Ready for this quick synopsis, if that's the right word? I think it is.
Say what you're going to say, and then I'll tell you if it's a synopsis or not.
Breaking it down quickly. Is that not a quick synopsis?
Okay. Yeah.
Am I using that out of... I don't know. I barely...
It works.
Okay.
I mean, you're just plugging a hole.
Hey, man, I'm looking to fill a hole myself here tonight, so we'll see what's cooking here. Listen to this. Early power play for the Washington Capitals. A mad scramble in front of Joseph Woll, who made some big saves before this scramble kind of shook down. Puck ends up in the back of the net, and so does Ovechkin, right in the back of the net. They call it goalie interference. No goal, still scoreless. Sheldon Keefe, they were saying on the panel here tonight, I think Gordon Miller and Mike Johnson, who were calling the game, said Sheldon Keefe is 10 for 10 on coach's challenge. Like, I think they mean like, I don't think total, because I think they've lost some like offensive challenges and whatever, but 10 for 10, they might've been talking about like goals being called back against the Leafs. That's pretty impressive. Like when Sheldon Keefe decides to call for a coach's challenge, he's like, it's basically 100% lock. It's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that credit also goes to the Leaf video room.
Well, did you see him call the timeout to be like, well, we're waiting for word here.
Yeah.
Call the timeout at the 5-minute mark of the first period.
Yeah, it's a smart move. Your team's getting shelled. They score that goal. Call the timeout. Burn the timeout. Buy yourself some time. Figure out if it's a goal or not. I like it. And the Leafs probably have one of the best video rooms. I mean, they have the money to spend on it. I don't know for a fact, but I'm assuming so. So for him to be 10-0, you probably got to give a lot of credit to the guys upstairs that are checking for offsides, goaltender interference, all the things that you're going to challenge.
Yeah, of course. 100%. So anyway, okay. So the goal, they wins another.
Did you think it was goaltender interference?
I did. After I saw it, like at first, initially was unsure, but the more I saw it, I'm like, yeah, like Ovechkin's he ran over him and he's right behind him. Like, yeah, of course.
When they played it again, I was like, oh yeah, we've seen goaltender interference where it doesn't even look like the goalie's being touched. And Ovechkin, yeah, you're right, ran over him and then just laid in the net.
Woll couldn't get his knob back up to like even attempt to make the save. Anyway, so Keefe wins another coach's challenge, stays scoreless. Morgan Rielly opens the scoring on the power play, a goal that I think I could have stopped. Absolutely brutal goal, but nonetheless puts the Leafs up 1-0. The first goal from their defense this season. The Leafs led 1-0 after the first period. Woll 16 saves in the first alone. You want to comment quickly on Rielly's goal? Like, that was a brutal goal, right?
It was a brutal goal.
Right through his, like, whatever you call this.
And
hole, right through a hole.
I mean, Washington's been off to a very rough start, and they started this game really well. Like, the shots were like 7-8-0.
Oh, and yeah. Well, they had a power play out of the gates, and they were peppering it. Like, Ovechkin had 7 shots on like the first power play,
and then on like the third shot that the Leafs get, your goalie lets in that one.
Yeah, brutal.
That's not good.
No, it is not. Okay, so we go to the second period. Ovi gets a penalty shot.
Yep.
Goes to the backhand, tries to go short side. Joseph Woll says, no, thank you. Makes a nice blocker save. Man, Joseph Woll, just awesome in this game here tonight. Then here we go. We've been waiting for this one for a long time. Ends up being the game winner too, Chad, but I think you know what I'm about to set up here. So please, by all means, take your time, but throw to it, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been waiting since last season, all summer, all preseason, all regular season, and finally it's time for Just the Tip.
Perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip, just for a second, just to see how it feels.
How about we play a little game called Just the Tip?
Perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip, just for a second, just to see how it feels.
Oh, and who else but JT?
Morgan
Rielly in the tipping column.
Morgan Rielly lets a shot go from the point. A little bit of a flutterer. Who, like you said, who else? John Tavares in front of the net, doing what he does, just right off the shaft, bro. No, sorry. This was all blade. The backhand. It hit the back.
It was right. It was a tip.
It was off the
perfect tip.
Oh, a perfect tip. It was off the back of his blade. Anybody who knows us from doing the Tip in Maple Leafs podcast for previous seasons, this guy, John Tavares, is the absolute king of going to the front of the net or just being around the blue point. Actually, he could tip it in from anywhere. Like, I don't think
we've seen him. We've seen him tip it in from the slot. We've seen him tip it in. I'm pretty sure he tipped it in from the red line one day.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Don't doubt it at all.
This guy is absolutely ridiculous with tipping the puck in. What an absolute, like, this wasn't a bullet though. This was he's kind of okay. It's been so long. I think he's like, oh man, I just need to dip my toes back in here. I just gotta start firing up the tips again. So it was like
it was a missionary tip.
Yeah, for sure. It was like, it wasn't a rocket. It was just kind of slow and steady. He knew where it was going. He knew exactly what was happening, but he was kind of like, I guess what I'm trying to say here, easing his way into, because it's been so long. He was just easing it in. It in.
Exactly. He just eased his way into it. Perfect tip. And let's hope that there's more.
Oh my God. Floodgates are going to open 100%. Wait until, like, dude, they're going to Texas here. We know how crazy things. Yeah. Like, that's more on that a little bit later. But anyway, absolutely incredible. Great to finally have our first tip-in of the season. Who else? John Tavares ends up being the game winner, puts the Leafs up 2-0 at that time. Nylander gets a breakaway shortly after that. Roofs hit top shelf, 3-0 Leafs. Leafs go to the power play. Matthews rips it home to make it 4-0. Ovi gets one with 10 seconds left in the second period to make it 4-1. Go to the third period, nothing cooking. That's how it ended. 4-1 Leafs. I didn't think this was a great game by the Leafs. I know they put up 4 goals and they scored timely goals. I didn't think they played their best game, but I'll tell you who did. Joseph Woll, 36 saves. Let's go right to this cat right now. Joseph Woll, Chad, take it.
Well, let's just say this. We did a podcast on Saturday. After Saturday's game, we talked about Joseph Woll. We joked about the whole Carey Price thing or whatever. But after tonight's performance, I think it's going to take a little bit for Samsonov to get back in the net.
Yeah,
What do you
dude. And just to preference this year, like we weren't saying Joseph Woll is the next Carey Price. We were quoting Max Domi, who made the comparison. It wasn't.
But if you saw the short that was put out, it looked like we were saying that. But
I know.
And everyone was joking about it. You listen to all the radio shows, everything.
Of course.
They were all joking about the whole Carey Price quote. And I'm not saying Joseph Woll is Carey Price, but what I am saying is he's playing like he's a big reason why they won tonight. They really didn't have a good game tonight. They managed to score 4 goals on what? Less than 20 shots?
Yeah, less than 20 shots. I think they ended up with 17 shots or something like that on that.
And what did Washington have? Washington had 35 shots, 36 shots?
37 shots. Woll made 36 saves.
Right.
And some really solid saves, man.
Some amazing saves. And the way Samsonov played in the preseason, the way Samsonov started this year, I just don't I don't see Keefe going back to Samsonov until Woll's luck runs out. So it's really I think it's Woll's net right now.
Is it luck though, or is this kid just finding it? You know what I
mean? He's going to hit a stretch where he's not playing that great. Every goalie does.
Okay, the Leafs are playing, yeah, for sure, 100%. Samsonov's there right now. The Leafs are playing in Dallas on Thursday and then in Nashville on Saturday to finish the road trip. Mike Johnson and Gord Miller were kind of bantering back and forth on the broadcast tonight that they think Samsonov, because of how much action Woll had tonight, they think that they're going to give Thursday's game in Dallas to Samsonov and go back to Woll in Nashville on Saturday. I don't agree with that. I think look how well Woll played in Tampa, and look how well he played here tonight, only let in 1 goal on 37 shots. Do you not just ride this guy?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, I know, but I'm just saying what they were thinking.
Oh, yeah, no, you definitely ride this guy. 100%.
What do you think Keefe is thinking, though?
Well, the way he sounded when people were asking him questions about it, I don't know if you saw it, and he said that he's pushing for the net, and he said he was going to start the Washington game. He said that was the decision all along. I don't know if I buy that. I think you come in and you play Tampa the way you did, but Sheldon Keefe's got to look at it this way: your division is a lot tougher.
Oh, dude,
this is not the same division that you had before. You are going to need to pick up points to keep pace. Detroit's looking good. Ottawa's looking better. Boston hasn't lost yet, and Tampa will probably figure it out. They'll be in the mix too.
Yep.
You're going to need all the points you can get. If this is the goalie that's giving you the W's right now, if he's the one banking the points, you got to ride that Woll, baby. Ride that Woll.
I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. The division has gotten so much tougher. And every point is going to matter. If Ottawa and Detroit keeps putting up wins, and obviously Boston's doing what they do again, and it's dude, you gotta, I'm just going with look. This kid is playing out of his fucking mind right now. Why would you take him out of the net? Keep rolling with it until something maybe goes a little south. If he doesn't have a good game next game, then maybe you go back to Samsonov. But until that happens, I'm not putting Samsonov back in net. Why would you even? No. Why would you? No. It's crazy. What if Woll just continues to roll? Then sorry, Sammy. You're out.
Well, you don't really owe Samsonov anything.
No, you don't, man. It's not about fucking good feelings here. It's about winning hockey games. Period.
Yeah. It's not.
Who gives you the best chance to fucking win on Thursday night? It's Joseph Woll right now.
Exactly. I mean, Samsonov's going to find the net again, and that's his chance to get hot. This is what you want. You want a little competitiveness. You want them to be fighting for the net because that's how you get the best goaltending. But Samsonov he's the starter, on paper, but he's not the clear number one. He's not like the Vasilevsky of the team. There was always a chance Joseph Woll was going to come in and maybe take the net, and that's what we're seeing right now. 100%. Hopefully it continues, because it would just be so good for the Leafs to have their own drafted and developed goalie become the number one.
Yeah, I said on the last podcast that I thought Joseph Woll was a Dubas draft pick. Turns out, I think he was picked the same year that Matthews was picked. It's just taken him longer to develop. So that would have been Lamoriello, actually. I don't think Woll was a Dubas draft pick. I'm pretty sure he's a Lamoriello draft pick. But regardless, anyway.
They were all there.
Yeah, they were all. That's true. But just so impressive with Joseph Woll. Like, I know it's Washington and whatever, but like, you can't really say, oh, it's Washington when they've got like Backstrom and Ovechkin and like they got a ton of offensive power there.
Yeah,
it's not working for Washington right now. But
and your team didn't play very good in front of you for the first half of the game. I don't know if it was a 6 o'clock start, whatever it was, but the Leafs did not come out strong, and Woll kept them in it.
No,
reverse that. Your team came out really strong in the Tampa Bay game, and your goalie gave up 3 goals on 4 shots.
True.
Big difference.
No, best Maple Leaf on the ice by a mile, Joseph Woll, 100%. And there was a couple other good ones too, including Nylander and Tavares, who continue their hot start to the season.
They look so good.
Points in all 6 game point streak now for both of them. And Nylander just continues to like absolutely look dominant out there. I really wish they would have got a contract done with this guy in the offseason, because now it's just like, I want Nylander back big time. But he's off to the best start in his career. Like, I don't know if the agent and Tree Living are gonna get to a point where like during the season they work something out, or is Nylander just gonna continue to light it up to the point where he's like, I gotta test the market here because someone might go to a crazy number. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Nylander doesn't really strike me as like he strikes me as he wants to stay in Toronto, but he also strikes me as he wants to get paid.
Oh, big
He's
time.
just so nonchalant. He's kind of hard to read.
He is.
Yeah, had you signed him, if he continues this to the end of the season, like if he just blows all his career statistics out of the water, whatever the offer was or whatever he was willing to take in the summer,
price is going up.
Oh, it's long gone, baby.
Yeah.
It's long gone. And I don't blame him, right? You look around the league at what some of the right wingers are getting, and if you're putting up better numbers than them, you're going to want that money.
It's tough, man. Like, I mean, there was a time where I would be like, I've been back and forth on this guy. And like, there was a time where I was like, yeah, like whatever. If they go, I don't want to see him walk for nothing. That would be terrible to lose a player of that caliber for absolute, like losing a Bunting and losing guys like that. Like, I don't love that either, but losing a guy like this. Oh yeah. You can't replace this guy. You can't.
No, like, Nylander's talent is insane, and we've been seeing it in abundance the start of this season.
It'll
Some
be
of the
like,
plays he pulls out on the ice, man. You're just like, who can do that in the NHL on a regular basis? Not many guys.
No, and like I do think he wants to be here. I just think ultimately he may want more money at the end of the day. Like, does he want to be here? I don't question. Like, I think he does like playing in Toronto and whatever. But ultimately, if some team comes out of left field with like he scores 50 goals and like some team comes out of left field with like, what are you paying for a 50 goal score? Like, can he get I don't even want to throw a number out there. Like, we were talking 9.5, 10, whatever. Does some team come out of nowhere in July 1st and like, here's 11, Willie? Like, here's 11 sheets? Like, it could happen.
Oh, it definitely could happen.
It's not going to be this team. It's definitely not going to be this team. But
no, they can't have that many guys making that much money. But
imagine how different
imagine
how different this team looks, Chad, without him right now. Like, they take him out of this lineup. How different does this team look?
Well, it's huge. I thought for the most part tonight, like I know Matthews got the power play goal or whatever, but for the majority of this game, they were a one-line team. Like they were basically a two-player team. It was Tavares and Nylander.
100%.
Because Bertuzzi, he was on that line. I don't think he did too much.
No, right now it's the Nylander and Tavares show without a doubt. And so we'll move off Nylander for a sec and go to Tavares. Like he's off to the best start since he's been here. Yeah. So this guy's just killing it here.
Did you see the stat that they put up there? That he's number 1 in inner slot shots.
Oh, well, does that surprise you?
Like, I mean, what? How many guys are in this league, and how many of them?
This season, or
no? Number one all time.
No, come on, no way.
Is that what they said? Maybe
I don't know.
Season.
that can't be right.
It just made me think, like, a lot of guys in this league are trying to get into the inner slot. And this
Oh my
guy,
God.
he's spending a lot of time in the inner slot.
Every guy wants to get into the slot, but
The
not
inner
all,
slot?
the inner slot. That's where you want to be, but not everybody has the ability to get there. This guy,
He's there.
he knows how to do it. Number one, apparently. That's very impressive. But
That's what it said on the broadcast tonight.
he's just been off to such an incredible start. It's so great to see because everyone's like, oh, the contract and whatever. Like, we've talked about it a bunch too, but like, I don't know, man. Looks good.
Yeah.
Like great start.
Well,
Great.
I told you, we talked about it at the start of the season, but I told you that he had said he had spent the summer working on his skating. Like he had been working with a power skating coach or whatever. And it does, he looks healthy, but two, he looks a little quicker out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's really helping him and Nylander.
Well, to keep up with Will, like Willie's like a fucking bat out of hell meatloaf reference. Like absolutely, like, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Two out of three ain't bad, or whatever Meatloaf used to say. But
that was their line tonight.
Well, yeah, two out of three ain't bad. Bertuzzi not doing much, but the other two cats, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Like a bat out of hell, like Meatloaf said. But no, man, you're like to keep back to the skating. Like
he looks good.
Nylander's like a bullet, man. So like
Nylander, yeah.
To be able to keep up with Nylander, like, yeah, no doubt he's been working on his skating. He's like, if I'm playing with this guy, I better start getting the wheels cooking here. So
far, so good this season, and he looks healthy. Same with Matthews. Like they just look different this year than they did last year.
Totally agree. So that's it. The road trip continues. A lot of good things. Joseph Woll, very impressive. Nylander and Tavares, what can you say? Matthews gets his 7th goal. He hadn't scored since the first 2 games, so he was due. Like an easy 7 for 34, no problem. But no, I agree with like everything you said there. So anything else before we go here? I got a couple quick things, but if you have anything, fire it out there.
No, let's hear what you got.
Okay, so couple quick things here. One thing, Giordano, he was saying before the game, this is an absolute legend move. A guy that's been in, him and Ovechkin are like roughly the same age. I think Ovi might even be a little bit older. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think Ovi might be a little bit older.
Ovi's not 40.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Anyway,
there's no way. He was drafted the year before Crosby.
Well, how long? Yeah. Okay. No, okay. Yeah. You're right. So yeah, late 30s, whatever, or mid to late 30s for Ovi. He's getting up there. He's cooking around 40. Anyway, you tell me when you know how old he is.
38.
Okay, so he's a couple around the same age. Gio
around the same age, but as you know, it's a big difference between 38 and 40.
For sure. Giordano just turned 40 in September. Anyway, he said pre-game to this one, he said Ovi, because they were asking about like, if he remembers the first time he played Ovechkin and like whatever, his goal scoring. He said Ovi can put it anywhere. But especially, he loves to slide it in back door. I'm like, what a veteran move that is. Like, I mean, for a guy that's been in the league as long as Giordano, he know how much he's played against Ovechkin. And to know that, like, Ovi, obviously he can put it anywhere he wants, but specifically he loves to slide it in the back door.
And he said slide it in?
Yeah, he loves to slide. Oh, like sneak it, slide it. What's worse? It was either sneak or slide. Which one's worse? Pick one.
I don't think either one is worse. They're both great.
No, I think sneak is much worse. I think slide is better.
Why is sneak worse?
If you want to sneak it in the back door, that's much worse than just sliding it in the back door. I think it's just much worse. You want to slide it in the back door. You don't want to sneak it in there. That's going to frighten somebody.
All right. I get what you're saying. I just think like going in the back door is hard enough. So if you have to sneak it, it's not that bad.
Well, hey, any way you can get it in the back door, do it. But like, there's not a lot of guys that are capable of sneaking it or sliding it in the back door Ovechkin is clearly one of them. Last thing, Chad,
Justin it his whole life.
Oh,
Sliding it.
Justin Hall, not a friend of the show. He finds himself not a friend of the show, Justin Hall. Like, all we did was shit on Justin Hall for the last.
Not me.
He finds himself in Motown playing defense for the Detroit Red Wings, leads the NHL amongst defensemen in plus minus. Justin Hall looks incredible for the Detroit Red Wings. Overdrive, shout out to our boys on Overdrive. They were talking the other day. I don't know if you got this. They were calling Justin Hall the new Larry Murphy. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Gets
He
moved to
leaves-
Toronto and goes and has a great career in Detroit. I don't know. I think the plus minus is what it is. Good for Justin Hall. I hope he has a good season or whatever, but give it time. Give it time, Detroit.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I would right now, because of like how that blue line looks, I would welcome Justin Hall back.
Oh, yeah.
But in the off season, if the Leafs would have signed him for $4 million, 3.5. I think it was 3.
Either way, you would have jumped off a cliff.
Oh my God. I would have been like, what are they thinking signing this guy for 3.5? But here, Steve Yzerman, here we go. Like, oh no, we'll get him in here. We'll get him cooking, like killing penalties, leading the league in plus minus amongst defensemen. It's just such a Toronto thing. Like, the guy gets booed out of here, like hated. No one like can't play D here, or just didn't like the way he played D here. Goes to Detroit, killing it. Big raise and just killing it, right? But anyway, Justin Hall, the new Larry Murphy. Chad, Thursday night in Dallas, 8 p.m. start. Nashville, Saturday, 7 p.m. start. Will we be back on Thursday, or maybe too late that night and we'll be back on Saturday? What's your call on that?
I don't know. We'll play it by ear. We'll see how it goes.
All right, brother.
If you don't see a podcast up from us by Friday morning, then you will see one Saturday night.
Yep.
And that's how it goes. Or Sunday, whatever.
Yeah.
The weekend.
All good, man.
Is what it is.
That's it for me tonight.
All right, man. Well, for the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, again, don't forget to follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, Twitter, Tip In Podcast. Email us tipinpodcast@gmail.com. And this Thursday, the Leafs are going to Dallas, and shenanigans always happen. There'll be a lot of sliding and sneaking in the back door. I guarantee you that.
Big time.
It's going to be very nice. So until then, I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
And we will.
Yeah, guys. We'll be back after either the Dallas game on Thursday or potentially for sure after the Nashville game, but maybe not after the Dallas game. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Go Leafs, go. Let's finish this roadie.
Check out our TikTok.
Yeah, go to TikTok. Check it all out. I can't even believe we're doing that, but a couple of grown men just ripping TikToks. No problem here. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you later.